Of all things this economy ruined, fast food prices felt the most criminal, especially when you consider fast food by design is supposed to be cheap, fast, and calorie dense. However, the prices just got even worse because of the current economy due to tariffs and trade war uncertainties, and just like always, rich corporations want us to suffer for their losses. They got investors to pay, so screw giving people a cheap and fast meal. These prices are going up again. Except this time, consumers aren't so easily fooled anymore. After a rocky start for this year for most fast food stocks, even moving into May now, a lot of these fast food companies are still seeing declining sales. How strange. Usually fast food is recession proof. That's why people like to park their money there to begin with. Except the problem that these fast food companies failed to consider is that the only reason they were considered recession proof is because they were cheap. In times of struggle, cheaper goods, especially necessity like food, tends to succeed better since they're more accessible. However, the constant price creep on a lot of fast food industry has caused it where they are in fact not at all a desirable thing to buy in times of struggle. In fact, most people treat them more like a luxury, so they're actually one of the first things that people are cutting out during times of financial struggle like right now.
Since when is drive-through like a minimum of $30 for two people to eat?
New inflation data this week confirms that prices at fast food restaurants are on the rise.
Prices are increasing at a rate that we haven't seen really in modern restaurant industry.
So much so that McDonald's has said it's noticing lower income consumers turning away from Big Macs and opting to cook at home.
This news actually put a smile on my face because sometimes I find myself losing too much faith in humanity because I see a lot of people willingly jump into the arms of corporate ripoffs like I did with the whole car buying situation from 2022. But it looks like this time people have hit a limit regarding stupidity and affordability. Never has there been a greater time to just buy from a local restaurant, cook at home, or go to some super underrated food court instead. Like, I don't get why everything these days had to be so profit focused to the point that these fast food companies thought that they could just keep slashing portion sizes, charging more, and somehow also making people wait longer, and they were getting surprised that people were showing up less. Like, the average wait time for most fast food places has gone up significantly, which defeats the purpose of, being called fast food.
Speed, that's the name of the game. The first stop for every McDonald's hamburger is the grill. Voila, a fresh, delicious burger from grill to counter in 30 seconds.
Which is further confusing me how with all of this cost cutting and all of this lost service, somehow prices are still going up, and we the consumers are the ones who are just expected to shoulder it and deal with these higher prices and shrinking proportions. Like, I'm sorry, does the computer cashier have a 401k and a robot family at home to feed? Obviously not, so where the hell is my money going towards? The answer to that is it's obviously just making the rich richer, because the real reason most companies are doing cost cutting and price increasing is because they just want to maximize profit margins to please investors. But I wonder how much longer it's going to take some of these companies to realize that pleasing investors only works if you actually are selling a profitable product/service to customers to begin with. And again, that's why fast food used to be pretty stable and successful, because to be fair, for over half a century they were doing their job. They were selling affordable, fast served food. Like, is it good food for you? No, but we're not going to get into the health implications of this video. That's not the point of this video. It's just they aren't even doing either of the things they're supposed to be doing, cheap or fast. Because of that, the so-called recession-proof status of most fast food stocks have finally been put to the test this year, because you have the combination of the continually rising inflation, and you now have added on to that tariff uncertainty as well as the ongoing trade war. Because remember, everything is part of the global supply chain, even things like wheat used to make hamburger buns. And this time, consumers are finally responding to these rising prices, not by just complaining on social media with slacktivism like they kind of did with inflation 1 or 2 years ago. This time, it's actual wallet activism. Consumers are just not buying fast food anymore. They've been pushed past a point where they no longer see this product as a viable service. They're just like, this is ridiculous. You've raised it beyond what I'm willing to put up with. And I encourage people watching to eat less fast food. Again, not just for health reasons, because you're just better than that. Like, you are not a corporate cuckold. You should not subject yourself to being used as a CEO's flesh toy and stomach a $15 to $20 McDonald's meal or other mid-as-hell fast food places that are charging these delusional prices just so they can make themselves even richer while watching us suffer suffer, because again, they don't want to suffer. They always want to shoulder the suffering onto us. The harder the times get, the easier they want to be for them, and it's so jaded and out of touch. But there are some people who are addicted to eating the slop so much to the point, even though they're priced out of buying this food regularly, they still keep trying, to the point that they're now even using buy now pay later services like Klarna, Affirm, and so on. And I really wish this was a joke, but people are doing pay in four for freaking burritos.
The food delivery service is teaming up with the buy now pay later company Klarna. The new partnership will give customers the option to buy in full or create a payment plan.
We are so royally screwed as a society if we think this is okay. We might actually need to bring back bullying, because these people do need to be dragged for what they are doing. Otherwise, we will never see lower meal prices if corporations realize that the next evolution to this business model is to just trick people into thinking their $16 burrito is actually just $4 because of pay in four. Like in 2021, I already thought some car guys were fried in the head when they started financing car mods using these services, but now we have people who are so terminally lone-brained, who are just massive corporate cuckolds in the big 2025, who are still taking loans on burritos on their lunch break.
Why do I care if in 2 months I have to pay another $25? I don't know me 2 months from now.
I cannot believe that sentence is something that's a real phenomenon that exists in our timeline. It's not some kind of skit made by The Onion. Like, take me back, bro. Put me in the time machine, because I don't want to be here anymore. I thought credit card debt was getting bad, but in just a few years, these buy now, pay later services are catching up quickly in regards to debt, and even worse, are suckering themselves into every facet of life, even in places where I didn't even think people would think to use them. But, bold of me to assume that everyone's getting smarter, because clearly there are some people getting dumber. And remember, the reason I'm being so harsh to these people is because it's not a necessity. Before someone says the cope of, but bladed, some of us just have to eat. You do have to eat, but not fast food. Like I said, do what the other people are doing and just stop buying it. If you feel like fast food is too overpriced and you're being priced out of it, then just don't eat it. You can eat other things, okay? We'll talk about solutions towards the end of this video. The even bigger kick in the nuts is how all of these places now look the same. I hate corporate minimalism. Like, quick rant about cars, because I gotta jingle the keys a bit. For the same reason color has been sucked out of cars in the past few decades, now even restaurants have been subjected to the same garbage throughout my lifetime, because unlike cars where most of the color had already faded by the early 90s before I was even born, with most fast food places, I actively watched these restaurants get torn down around 2020, then get replaced with the most boring gray box of concrete possible. Oh, but gray just looks more upscale and professional, says the 40-year-old millennial marketing director that got us in this whole situation, who also drives a boring gray SUV, who also contributes to society, looking totally depressing. Am I crashing out way too much over this? Yes, definitely. But look, you can't fool me. This is a McDonald's, all right? You think I come here to feel upscale and professional? Most people would gladly pay less than pretend to dine in a slightly classier looking restaurant. I can't eat classy looks and atmosphere, so why am I paying for it? Atmosphere only matters for a luxury place where you take your significant other on a date night. But if we're just talking a day-to-day place that you frequent for morning stops of coffees or burger lunch breaks, or just, this doesn't need upscale decor. This isn't like your once a month date, okay? It's just fast food. This is why Chili's, of all things, is actually eating fast food profits alive right now, because there comes a point where customers realize, wait a second, if I'm gonna pay these prices, sit down and wait for the food anyways because of how long these fast food places are taking, I might just go to a fast casual place instead, because why not? And boom, upwards trend for Chili's, Applebee's, Shake Shack, and other fast casual places for that matter, because the sad reality is it's not even like a $1 to $2 difference. Sometimes it's literally the same price, including tip. In some places are even cheaper during certain weekly, daily deals that they do.
Here, Chili's fourth quarter sales increased nearly 15% compared to the same time period in 2023.
The idea of what if we made a burger that had familiar taste profile of a famous fast food burger, but done in the format of Chili's, and then go after this idea that fast food pricing is high, right? And we did that May of last year, and the business was doing well before that. It just took off after that.
This is just crazy. Like, the Chili's CEO is so based that he even acknowledges that fast food places have moved out of their lane, and he saw the gap in the market that they left and just started slashing prices to gut them from underneath them. So in a time where everyone else is raising prices, trying to milk the consumer dry, it's good to see that there's at least one CEO who's still in touch with their audience and realizes, wait a second, if things are getting more expensive and the economy's getting more rough, aren't people more broke actually? I should probably sell things for cheaper actually, because I'll actually get more customers through the door, which will actually still equate to a net positive for my business. Like, it's ridiculous that if you walk into a Five Guys or a McDonald's, you'll be subjected to $15, $18, even $20, whereas you can go to a fast casual dining experience and depending on the certain deal of the day, it might just be $10 or $12. Why has the script flipped? And I get that if you're not comfortable supporting yet another big corporation by eating at a Chili's or so on and so forth, you know, look, I get it, all right? Which is why we're gonna get into some great alternatives for those who still need a quick meal before work, during work, or after work.
Finally, some good food.
So instead of just complaining about the problem, let's offer some solutions. So amongst a lot of my American friends, they have this tendency to not like food courts for the silliest of reasons. It's because they don't like the optics or the atmosphere. It reminds them of their high school cafeteria, I guess, so they don't want to sit there as a full-grown adult. Come on, like I said earlier, I can't eat atmosphere. That's for breathing. I need to eat. Like, Asians, we take our food courts super seriously. We do a great job at them, especially in our own countries. Like in Japan, for example, they even have food courts at rest stops. And before some American says, man, that must suck, that's where you go to piss between driving. Hell nah. Some of the best food in the country is at freaking rest stop food courts. I kid you not. So bring that concept to America. Boom. In the United States, there already are plenty of food courts, FDA approved, food inspector certified, and so on. Not all Asian supermarkets are dirty. Please stop that stereotype, because here in Atlanta, the Koreans are keeping it clean. Food courts, solo garbage fast food every day of the week. At least they use real ingredients and actually make vegetables taste good. Like, straight up, anyone who says they hate eating vegetables must have only ever tried salads. We aren't caterpillars. We don't need to subject ourselves to chewing on leaves if we don't want to. But man, if you try some Asian stir fry, you're gonna change your mind. Seriously, try eating real food and less hyper-processed corporate slop. The same people who say eat the rich, screw big corpos, are the same people I see using iPhones, buying luxury handbags, and eating garbage fast food products which are made by the rich. Stop eating from the rich if you want to eat the rich, okay? We do not need to keep making fast food CEOs even more of billionaires than they already are. But I'm not gonna lie to you guys, mileage will vary with that experience, because there are local places that will charge $27 for the most dog water tier food I've ever eaten my whole life. So like, I get that it can be frustrating trying to find like a consistently good local place to eat at, which is why it's usually safer to just tell people, suck it up, you can't eat atmosphere, go to a food court, you'll get great food for like $6, $7, $8, or $9, even $10, like straight up, good proportions too. And if you do want like cheap restaurants, a good example is like banh mi, for example, which is a type of Vietnamese sandwich. There are like 5 of these places near me, right? All of them slap, literally none of them miss. Like the worst one is still like a 7.5 out of 10 on my palate. Like, they just way better than Subway. All of them sell a foot-long sandwich for like $5 to $8 depending on options, right? But you know what Subway charges these days for that kind of stuff? Damn near like 10, 12 in my area. And this isn't even talking about how booty cheeks the Subway bread is compared to these banh mi places that sometimes even bake it themselves, because they're also part bakery. And again, ooh, these Asian buns, I'm telling you, they're freaking good, man. Y'all need to expand your palates. You gotta stop having the palates of 12-year-olds and only eating chicken tendies and fries, you know? It's okay to be a grown-up, all right? You'll love it, in fact. Welcome to the real world. Anyways, this is what I mean when I say that like corporate fast food chains are completely washed. Because if you look hard enough, you'll find great local substitutes and alternatives. Obviously, for other people who are like, hey Bladed, I know an even better way to save money. I know where we're getting to, because cooking at home, that's the best solution. If you just learn to cook, you will save a lot of money. If you're gonna spend 30 minutes waiting for the not so fast food to not be fast anymore, it wouldn't hurt to learn to cook, you know, just a little something, little advice for some people. Not trying to flame anyone, just genuine advice, all right? Anyways, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. And if you like this video, make sure to like it and share it to your friends, especially the ones who are caught using buy now, pay later services on Burritos. Bro, we need an intervention. Y'all need some help. Like, you know who you are. Anyways, subscribe for more weekly situations updates, and I'll see y'all next time. Bladed Angel out.